Hi, and welcome back to Thone's Psalms, Nibbles, number 14. The title being The Folly of the Godless and God's Goodness. So, folly, of godlessness, and the goodness of God. It's from Psalm 14, verses 1 through 7. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there are any who understand, who seek God. They have all turned aside. They have together become corrupt. There is none who does good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread? Do not call on the Lord? They are in great fear, for God is with the generation of the righteous. You shame the coarse counsel of the poor. But the Lord is the refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel would come out of Zion. When the Lord brings back the captivity of his people, let Jacob recognize and rejoice. Let Jacob rejoice and Israel be glad. So, we're really talking about two different stories of man's future. Why is this in the Bible? David warns those who are not behaving in the godly manner that they should be living in fear. That's certainly something which has been a subject of many a sermon, right? Communications. Those are not believers will be badly fooled. Reminds me of my father-in-law. I mean, yeah, when he would talk about people who don't believe, he'd say, "Well, those people when they die, they're going to discover that they were bad fooled." That was his term for that, and I just had to put it in here because I think it's so appropriate in a sense. The application to my life. David refers to those not of God's people are fools. They are corrupt, and they have done evil works, abominable works even. He laments that so many are of such a case. They will regret this because he supports the generation of righteous people. Therefore, when his people return from captivity, salvation will come from Zion, and Israel will be glad. Interesting. This is David the prophet as well here, in that he knows that the people will be taken into captivity and that they will return from that captivity. And this was many, many, many years before any of this actually happened. God says, salvation will come from Zion. That is, if you think about it, that is literally what happened in the New Testament, is that on Mount Zion, that is the mountain of Jerusalem, Jesus died and then resurrected. All that happened on Mount Zion. And our spiritual salvation came from Zion in that sense, whether we are Jew or Gentile. But, we're also talking about physical salvation from all these evil people and their evil works as well. So salvation is one of those terms which often happens in prophecy in particular, where you have a certain word which means something now, or in this case, it's still like, 400 some years in the future, and then that was the salvation, the return of the people to Jerusalem after they had gone into captivity. So that salvation will come. And then he's also talking about the salvation that's going to be provided by Jesus coming to that same place all those years later, even in the time he's originally talking about here. And it also means that, remember, Jesus is going to be is going to land essentially with his white horse on Mount Zion at the beginning of the millennial age. So that's three different meanings of salvation will come from Zion, and all of them relate to the family of David, and all of them relate to his people. So all of these things are true at once. We can interpret it this way, and there's nothing wrong with that, and we can interpret it this way, and there's nothing wrong with that, and then we can interpret this way, and there's nothing wrong with that. And in fact, we then learn that David has been given a prophecy from God here for three different kinds of salvation. There's physical salvation in the first situation, the return from captivity. There's eternal salvation there from the life, burial, death, resurrection of Jesus. And then we jump all the way forward to when that salvation is finally going to kick in at the start of the millennium. And so, bang, 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 three salvations. I'll get off my high horse now. My personal response: Lord, do refute the claim that there is no God. It's our job to try to refute that claim in our ministries, but we know that the one person that can refute it now and forever is the Lord himself, and we wish him to refute that and show everyone that there is a God. Okay. That completes this one, and we'll talk to you next time.